And here's a picture of my DIY loading pin, and I'll show you how I made it. You're going to need 18 inches or whatever length you want, but I used 18 inches of black pipe, a 1-inch flange. This is 1-inch black pipe. This is a 1-inch cap, and then I have a 3/8 eye bolt, and inside here I have a 3/8 nut, 3/8 lock washer, and a 3/8 washer. When you're buying the cap, make sure you take a look inside of it. A lot of them aren't finished, very flat inside, so I had to bring one back in order to be able to get the washer down inside of there. But essentially it's really simple. The only things, and then you're going to need a piece of 1.5 inch PVC and some electrical tape and some Loctite. Now when you choose your PVC, this is schedule 40 white PVC. I decided to paint it. That is not working out very well, so unless you know what you're doing with painting plastics, it's just going to come off. I've only used this, you know, a handful of times, maybe 6-7 times, and it's, before I know it, it's going to be all out. So what you should use is either just stay with the white if you want that. Don't use ABS if you're going black, but I bought some furniture quality PVC, and you get any color you want pretty much, so that's what I would recommend. Now this is cut to about 17 3/8, maybe a little bit longer, so it's not going to be the full 18 inches of your pipe because it's going to leave room for the threads. I didn't take video of doing this, but all you need to do with your cap is drill a hole in the top big enough to take the 3/8 eye bolt. You want to do that as straight as possible. It's pretty difficult. I don't have a drill press. And then inside here, go ahead and take a pair of pliers and get that nut locked down. And then I'm going to take this Loctite and unscrew this, rescrew it in there, and that'll make sure this thing just never comes through. The next issue you're going to have is the flange on the bottom. The PVC inner diameter is not enough to fit in there. So what you need to do is just take a file or a Dremel sanding bit or something and just take this inner edge down a little bit, and that'll make sure that it can fit right over that lip. So hopefully you can see this all right. Basically I'm going to take this Dremel bit and just take down the inside edge of this a little bit. And now that I've kind of filed down the inside of that, that'll fit right over there flush. Got some Loctite thread locker. I backed the bolt off a little bit. I'm just going to feed some of this down into there. Probably use way too much. I'm just going to take my pliers and work this back down in there. Should be good. That's kind of what that looks like. That'll dry, and that won't be going anywhere. So next you're just going to fit your pieces together. Just take your flange. I painted this black, by the way. Probably if I could do it again, I'd get galvanized. I'm working out in a shed, so you know, these black pipe things tend to rust. So just feed this on here. Hand tightens probably plenty. You're going to take the end that you filed down. That's going to go over. Oh, before we do that, electrical tape. So the 1.5 inch PVC is a little loose on 1 inch black pipe. So you just take your electrical tape and just wind it around at a couple points until it's thick enough where you don't have any of that play. So this will slide right back on there. Push that down. And then I've got it right flush up against the bottom now. Fits very nice. Then you're going to take the top piece. We've got that thread lock in there. You're just going to work this back on here. Screw that down. And you've got a beautiful 18-inch long loading pin. So for my loading pin, one issue with these homemade DIY pulley systems is the weights can sway back and forth. So a lot of people use chains. So what I did is I bought this 18-inch, I think it's a tabletop from Home Depot, and screwed in a couple of screw-in eye hooks, and then attached a chain to the bottom. So I can load this on the loading pin, and then the chain will kind of come on and off the floor. But next thing I created was a little bit of an issue with the chain getting underneath the loading pin, so I needed to create a little bit of space. So I cut these discs. So at first I cut these into circles, but all I have is a jigsaw, and I hate how crooked it makes it come out, so I ended up cutting them into octagons. But these are 6-inch octagons, and what I use these for is, first of all, I took a Dremel and I bored out the bottom of this so that I can drop it on top of my loading pin, and that will sit flush with the floor. Then I'll put this second one on here, and then I can grab my disc. One second. So here I have the chain disc on there. As you can see, I've got the octagons underneath, and there's clearance so that there's room for the chains. I also put another disc on top. That just helps me be able to load the 45s on and off a little bit easier, be able to get my fingers underneath there. And so let me show you kind of how it works. And here's what it looks like being loaded and used. And it will work just as well without the chain system.